Dalton and really enriching our community and literally the fabric of society where we live. So I'm going to go ahead and begin. You may hear a word or two of Spanish mingled into the conversation here. We all speak Spanish. The five distinguished visitors on my left are bilingüe y bicultural. They're bilingual and bicultural. Puedo hablar también. I can speak Spanish myself, although de vez en cuando cometo errores con pronunciación y gramática. Every once in a while I'll make a mistake. But I love the language, which is one of the reasons I'm here, and I love to work with these folks. And you will find out very shortly that we are all very passionate about this topic. What is happening in Georgia is not a joke. It is very serious. And there's some human rights issues that are being violated big time, and many people are living in fear. And we as social workers, I believe, need to be responsible for remedying this situation. And you'll be hearing more of that. The title is of the presentation is Shattered Dreams, Living Nightmares, and the Quest for Social Justice. And it really is about a quest for social justice. It is about dreams being shattered of what life in the United States can be like, and people really living through some nightmares. So we hope to inform you all, get you fired up to create change about a problem that is not just happening here in Georgia, not just happening through the United States, but it's really happening to immigrant populations throughout the world. So the topic could not be more important. So first I will introduce my colleagues, and they will be speaking shortly. For about 5 to 10 minutes each. I'm probably going to start off speaking about 20 minutes. We will definitely have time for questions and input. This is a 90-minute session for which we feel very fortunate, and we're grateful to CSW for providing us this time and this space to do this. To my left, we have Ashley Flores, Andrea Caicedo, Roy Alejandro, José Morales, and Luis Alvarez. They are both current and former students of our BSW program in Dalton. And Dalton, by the way, to my knowledge, is the only bilingual, bicultural program of its kind where students are required to study Spanish, they are required to study Latino family and culture, and they're required to have an immersion experience in a Latin American setting. So far we have been to the city of Jalapa, as in jalapeno pepper. Jalapa is the capital city of the state of Veracruz in Mexico. Mexico, if you don't know, has states just like the United States. There's 31 of them. Veracruz is a beautiful state. It's on the eastern coast along the Gulf of Mexico. I want to read a quote to you and then read a caveat that I have. You may recognize this quote. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. Lift my light, my lamp beside the golden door. And I think most of you, for that, will sound familiar. It's at the base of the Statue of Liberty. But perhaps Emma Lazarus's words should have added a few caveats, such as unless your skin is other than white, unless you don't speak English, or speak with a funny accent, or unless you are willing to relinquish your native culture and customs. Latinos, more than 50 million strong in the United States, are the largest and fastest growing minority group in the United States. In the 2008 presidential election, their vote was a decisive factor in Colorado, New Mexico, and Florida. Now, where does Dalton, Georgia come into this? Many of you have probably not heard of Dalton prior to coming here today. A few years ago, I would have been with you right there. A little bit about Dalton and the immigrant population. Lured by the exploding carpet industry and the need for workers, Latinos migrated to Dalton in large numbers during the 1980s and 1990s. Dalton is located in the northwest corner of the state of Georgia. It's about 25 miles south of the city of Chattanooga. That's the nearest city, really. It's quite a rural area. It's about 85 miles north of where we're sitting right now today. It's home to 16,000 Latinos amongst a population of 33,000 residents. That works out to about 48% of the population being Latino. An interesting statistic is that in the public schools, K through 12, more than 2/3 of all the students are Latino and have Spanish as a first language. So Dalton schools have, students have surnames such as Alvarez, Fuentes, Hernandez, Martinez, Ramos, Sanchez, and Dalton is one of the most robust Latino communities in the entire South. The entire population of Latinos in Georgia is only 8%, and yet we're about 47–48%. We're the highest concentration of Latinos in the entire state of Georgia. You may be wondering how they all got there, and in large part it's due to a need to work in poultry factories, but even more significant in the carpet industry. People from Georgia actually spent time recruiting people from Mexico to come because they needed the labor force. In the 90s in particular, the carpet industry exploded, and the city of Dalton became one of the most wealthy communities in the entire United States. Chenille bedspreads were invented there, and you can still find in many magazines ads for buy your carpet in Georgia. We'll get it installed for you. It's much less expensive, and indeed it is. And they needed a labor force that was reliable and could work for a relatively low wage, although the wages are not minimal, but they're not get-rich wages either. Okay, what has happened over time, as I said, most of the migration took place in the 80s and 90s. We're seeing not only first generation Latinos, we're seeing second generation, and we're seeing the beginnings of third generations. You will actually hear that some of my students have been in Dalton long enough to acquire a strong Southern accent. So there's been a certain amount of acclimation. Some of you may know me from working at the University of Alaska for 12 years and may be wondering how in the heck did I get all the way down here, which is nearly 5,000 miles away. You can't get any much further away and still be in the United States. I came here because of my love of the culture. I came here because I'm the father of 2 sons born in Honduras. I came here because I was born and raised in Los Angeles and grew up around Latinos. Latinos are now they're not the minority in Los Angeles, they are the majority, over 50%.